We're live.
Welcome. Good
Hey, happy noon.
Welcome to the show. So happy to have you here. Invite your friends because it's more fun.
So I just frost. I just frothed my coffee in my mouth as I was doing this.
How do you froth?
For any of you guys who have a frother, like the milk goes like that.
Oh gosh.
Get it?
I thought when you would blow bubbles in your chocolate milk.
Oh no.
I used to froth my chocolate milk.
I used to do that too.
Boom! Explosion. Everybody thinks it's funny except for Mom.
How do you go from having a milkshake to an entire? You froth it. Good noon.
All right, today's Q&A day. So we have some questions from you, and we're gonna answer them.
Real quick before we continue this party, you guys remember what week it is.
Remember what?
'Tis the time for all things pre-order for the summer 2021 ENS edition. So if you haven't already taken advantage of the order opportunity, remember that it only lasts between today and Friday. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's it. You've got 4 days left. So this is us just doing art and telling you, get on it.
Just so you know, the tank tops that you see, the tees are these ones. Just so you guys know, they say crop, they are cropped. Also, there's 3 hats. 2 of them are for normal size adult heads. And then one of them is for the youth baby pea size head like Sarit and I have. Because we know some of y'all have little baby heads too. So make sure you're getting the right sizes for things.
And the Boogie shirt was created by Boogie himself.
And Boogie himself created I Love to Boogie t-shirt.
Yes.
So
Auntie Stacy helped him with it.
Yeah, him and
they did it together.
Yeah, and then Auntie Stacy created that shirt together.
Yeah.
All right. So, questions.
Yeah. Let's answer them.
First question comes from Rhonda
from Collarville, Tennessee. All right. This is a long question. I do like reading them. So with us if it takes us like 2 minutes to read it.
So thanks for joining us for this amazing question.
First, I'd like to say I love you ladies and your crew. Shout out to our crew. Where's our crew at? Drop a echo. Secondly, I truly enjoyed the 8-week raw. Gain a wealth of information and knowledge, and I'm working on it daily. With that said, you know a little of my story. I really want to focus on my end goal for this year, which is the November 27th INBA fitness competition. My mindset is better, my nutrition is good and getting better. My movement is not consistent as it needs to be. That's for sure. I lost 10.5 pounds in raw and 18 inches. Wow. I worked mostly on my mindset. This is where it starts. I want to work on my being consistent with movement and gaining muscle / losing fat. I'd like to lose 40 pounds. The 40 pounds is just a number. It's how I look that I care about. Losing, gaining muscle is my goal. With all that said, what is it that I should focus on? How should I set up my daily routines and workouts? I've recently consistently moved, just not specific leg day, back day, yoga day, etc., and was not able to complete entire 45 minutes of workout. I feel all over because I've never done this, and there is so much information online and people say conflicting things. I want to be the health can be. I want to exercise safely. I want to enter the competition with a fit body, not skinny or not overly muscular, and healthy. What do you suggest to be the next steps after the raw? Your burn zone workout sufficient. I did the rise above during raw and not BZ because I haven't handled them yet. Should I add another workout with weights along with BZ? Any suggestions would be helpful. Thank you. Appreciate your time and support.
This is loaded.
Yeah.
Initial thoughts.
A lot in it. And we got to focus on one thing at a time. And I am not one, I will say this with full transparency, I'm not one to give detailed advice with regards to anything, bikini or bodybuilding competition. That is not my specialty. That is not something that I care for to be my specialty, because that is not a sustainable plan. However, if this is your goal, then who am I to tell you that that should not be your goal? However, something that we all have to consider with regards to goals like these, there's a difference between an approach for specificity, which seems to be what you want, versus a sustainable approach. So knowing that, an approach specificity versus a sustainable approach, burn zone workouts are not workouts that you should be doing for a bodybuilding show. Like, just do straight up isolation, something that we tell you, and this is what we tell everybody. When you are pursuing anything, don't go through it alone. Now, if you achieve sustainable weight loss while dropping 40 pounds, then you need to keep on immersing yourself with our content. However, it doesn't seem to be the case. So what you need to do is you need to hire a qualified bodybuilding coach. But knowing your history, something that you need to think about is what's going to be your strategy right after the bodybuilding show. Because your bodybuilding show doesn't help you build sustainable habits. That's not the result. The goal of a bodybuilding show, bodybuilding is the sport of body composition. It is how fast can you manipulate your body to be at a certain body fat percentage. It has nothing to do with functionality or sustainability whatsoever. Like, the winner of the show is the one who on the stage at that very moment fits the criteria that those judges are looking for. And from my own personal opinion, it has nothing to do with regards to helping you to build sustainable habits, empowerment, or confidence. It could in the moment. That is not always the case. In fact, most of the time, that is not the case at all. However, just with regards to anything, if this is your goal and you wish to pursue it, then do it. But I will tell you that, we are not specialists in body, nor do we care to be that. Erin has experience with it, so I'm sure she's going to touch up on it from a different angle. But I will tell you, if your goal is to be on a stage in November 27th, you need to hire a coach. And burn zone workouts are not going to help you to get on stage. They're going to help you to look like fat ass, but it's different because it's a very specific goal. Now, knowing what I know about you, what I would also recommend is think about, from a long-term strategy, what are you going to do for yourself to help yourself after the bodybuilding show. So it's, just things that you need to think about. And that's all I have.
Yeah. It seems we're pretty choppy on the broadcast. So thank you guys for your patience. It doesn't, there's what I've tried. I'm not sure what else to try to do to make it any better. Just kind of, it's about to be really stormy here. I don't know if it's something to do with it, but we'll do our best. And hopefully everything clears up on the broadcast. And in regards to all of this, I want to help you to see what you're saying. And I'm going to pick out the things in here. I want to focus on my end goal, which is the fitness competition. My nutrition is good and getting better. Movement, not consistent. I need to lose
40 pounds.
I'd like to lose 40 pounds. Okay. It's how I look that I care about. Okay. Losing fat, gaining muscle is my goal. So losing fat, gaining muscle. With all that said, what is it that I should focus on? But we're not done yet. How should I set up my daily workouts and routines? I've recently consistently moved, just not specific leg day, back day, yoga, etc. I was able to complete 45 minutes of workout. I feel all over because I've done this. So much information. People say conflicting things. I want to be the healthiest I can be. To exercise safely. Another one. I want to enter the competition with fit body. That goes with the same one. Not skinny or overly muscular. You need to define those. What is too skinny and what is overly muscular? I wouldn't be concerned with that because it's not realistic depending on what your definition of overly muscular is. Toned and healthy. What would you suggest? I think I saw in here actually, I want to be the healthiest I can be. Okay. I want to be the healthiest I can be, exercise safely. Okay. So which one of those 5 do you want? Because to be the healthy doesn't mean I wouldn't in competition. Argue that's not the healthiest that you could be. If you want consistency, I would also say don't do the bodybuilding competition because that is there's a certain amount of work and effort that needs to be put into that cannot be done consistently over long periods of time. And we've had this conversation before, and I made the suggestion not on doing the bodybuilding competition. Seems you still want to do it, which will be your choice, and I can't decide that for you. However, what we can say is you named a bunch of things that don't go hand in hand. You have to decide which one of those things you want more. Do you want to do the competition more? And if so, I would answer why. Do you want to be your best and most consistent? If so, I would answer why. Because I did it, and I will not argue that it's healthy. If we're talking about mindset, if we're talking about you being excited that your mindset has gotten better, your nutrition has gotten better, it still needs to be better, you want to be consistent, you just recently kind of got consistent with your workouts, then, you were our client, we suggest you focus on continuing to get more consistent and continue to get better at each of these things so you can be obvious, not so you can get on a stage. But I'll also say that between now and November, to lose 40 pounds or 40 pounds is that where are we at? We would have August, September, October. You would have to lose over 10 pounds a month. Right?
Mhm.
November 27th. So you'd have to lose 10 pounds a month. My question to you would be, at what pace have you been losing, what was it, 18 pounds in 18 inches? You lost 10 and a half pounds in raw, which was 8 weeks. That's 2 months. If you lost another
inches,
if you lost another 10 and a half pounds in these next 4 months, that is 40 pounds. Is that something that's sustainable? And is that something you would feel confident going on to stage with? Because those people are they're sucked dry. Like, and I don't look at Kayla. Kayla from our team, Kayla Sherlock, she did a show literally Saturday. She just did it. Her and I had a conversation. Now, Kayla's already fit. Kayla already, you know, if there's a spectrum of I want to get on stage to I need to lose 60 pounds, 50 pounds, which is where you were before raw, right? Kayla probably only lost 15 to 20 pounds in the time that she was training. And in the middle of that, her and I had a conversation. I wasn't sure she wanted to do it because of how you come out on the back end. She decided she wanted to do it because she felt confident that she will come out on the back end in a healthy way. And for her, it was about sticking to a word that she said. So it was about an intention and a, you know, I want to be able to do it. And granted, you know, she was already this close, whereas you are this close. So, you know, you can really get on stage at any that you want. But what happens is you open yourself to be judged by your appearance. That is what competition is about. It doesn't mean it's a bad thing. CrossFit, you get judged on
your work capacity,
your movement, your capacity. In basketball or football, you get judged on how many points you score and who you head check with your helmet that you shouldn't. And, you know, every sport has a way of, you know, determining who the winner is. But this sport specifically, you have to be mindful when you go on stage, the way that you win is by them judging and comparing you to everybody else. So if we're talking about mindset and wanting a healthy mindset, I would say that that's the right door that you would walk through that would get you that. It could be more than hurtful. I don't know, because none of us have lived it yet. I know for myself, it wasn't a thing, but that's just me. So
the reason why I never wanted to do it is because I knew I know my strengths and I know my weaknesses. And I knew that it would not set me up for success. It would set me up for terror and going back to where I fought for so long to get away from.
I will say, when I was 4 months out from my show, I started training 4 months out too. That's where you're 4 months out right now. I went from about 130 pounds to 120 pounds. I didn't lose 40 pounds. I lost 15.
Right.
And it happened over 4 months. And I came out with some wicked issues. It took me 5 years to recover from.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, just consider all things. Do you want to be your healthiest? I would say don't do the bodybuilding competition. If you really want a bodybuilding competition, you have to understand what things come with that. And if you're okay with that, then that is 100% your choice.
Mm.
So I just want to try to give both ends.
There's two things that I want to.
Can I say one more thing about burn zone workouts? The Rise Above and Burn Zone 1 are not really different from each other. They're not that much different. So, when you say that you did rise above because you couldn't do burn zone 1, they're same structure, similar intensity.
Just more movement, we did more workouts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, ultimately the goals are yours and nobody can tell you that your goals are right or wrong, but you have to know what is my level of preparation going into it. So I want to share with you guys 2 things. I had a conversation with someone about a month ago, and I would say that person is green with regards to all things like body health, whatnot. And he is like, Sarit, I want to look like LeBron.
Novice.
Yes, very novice. And he's like, Sarit, I want to look like LeBron James in 6 months. So I said 2 things. For one, I love that you're inspired by the elite. However, I will be doing you an extreme disservice if we would not hold up and take a second to acknowledge what you just said. Now I was like, how long do you think it took LeBron James to look and perform the way that he does today? Like figures to figures, right? Not just to figures, figures to figures. And I think it's probably about 20 years if we're really looking at it. How much time and money does LeBron James invest in his health on a daily basis nowadays?
In his fitness, in his performance, in his recovery.
Yeah.
In his mindset.
All the things. Knowing the logistics of your day-to-day life, and I'm not saying that you looking like LeBron James is impossible, putting it in a 6 months period, is that a relevant goal? Yes or no? Yeah. Like I was saying. So I'm like, how about you go into the intention of being inspired to over time look and perform like LeBron James. However, if I want to look like LeBron James 6 months from now, logistically speaking, are you able to put everything that puts in every single day with regards to all things regeneration, with regards to all nutrition, with regards to all things body work, with regards to all things mindset, obviously specific training, which is basketball, and then strength and conditioning with regards to that. Knowing the time that you can allot in the day, do you are you willing to give me that for the next 6 months? And he's like, well, I have to do times Z, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I'm like, that's number 1. Now, number 2, are we able to put all of that? Let's say if you're able to, go point by point regards to what LeBron James does.
Wow. That was weird. I guess we're back.
We are back.
Wow.
Thanks for hanging on, guys. We don't know what just happened.
Yes.
But can you, however, I'm like, can you show me a way where we can put like an entire 20-year lifespan into 6 months? Because that is something I'm not aware of. So we need to understand whether our goals are also relevant within a manner. Setting high goals, that's amazing. How so many people end up quitting because those are not relevant with a specific time frame. And Rhonda, I want you to know that it's not that I don't think that you can do it or that it's impossible. I truly believe that it is. My question to you is this goal right now relevant? Think about
realistic.
Yeah. Yeah. Realistic and relevant. Is it realistic? Like if we're just logistically speaking.
I mean, you can get on a stage.
Yeah, but what do you want the outcome of it to be?
I would say, like, if we're just being real and you and I are having a conversation, I would say no matter what, you can choose to get on a stage on November 27th if you would like to. Are you going to look like everybody else? Like, I'm trying to also be inspiring in this because but I want to be truthful. I want to be inspiring, but I want to be truthful. And maybe if you do a show, it's a show that's out so you can give your time for full preparation. But it doesn't mean you can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
So
you have to define, like, is this goal realistic? Just knowing the number, like figures to figures, you know? And the second thing that I'm just curious to know is your idea of getting on stage a definition of the idea of healthiest per se?
yeah, I touched on.
And if so, what inspired that? If it's a certain person who lets look a certain way on stage, I would tell you that what you should do before else, talk to that person. See where they were leading up to it, what it took, and where they are. Get the full picture. People make a judgment of a process by looking at a single event. When you don't have all of the information, and you could be like, what's the word? You could be misleading yourself because you're setting yourself up with an expectation when you don't have all of the information. And we see this in the entrepreneurial world. We have two mentors extremely successful. And you see them on social media and they think that they can get to where they got.
Who's they and they?
Just random.
The entrepreneur.
The starting out entrepreneur.
Okay. Thinks that
it inspired by those two mentors. Okay. And
or any influencer
and everything they built. There's a difference between having built a successful empire and being like a massive difference.
An influencer in the actual sense of the word. Actually, no, because you can be an influencer. Yes, you can be influencing people to not.
Right.
I guess what I mean is
there's
like
different levels of. I'm just saying an entrepreneurial icon. Okay. So thinking that yes, you're inspired, that's awesome, but just because you're now inspired by them, expecting that you're going to get to where they got. It's awesome that you're thinking this big, but without having all of the like relevant information, be setting yourself up for a really rude awakening.
And without
what I'm trying to say, because it took them 30 years.
And without being willing to invest in what they teach.
Yeah. So like you have to it's like that person that, you know, has inspired you to get on stage, get close to that person. and see what they had to do to lead up to that and where they are at now. And then ask yourself, am I still willing to do all that it takes? Because now you will have context. If you're like, ooh, well, maybe my idea of healthy is actually not that. She told me blah, blah, blah. So now you will have a better understanding of what it is that you actually want. People see pictures and they think that, they get there just because they're inspired by something. But like the mechanics of things are totally different once you get into it. Now, I would say if you know that the raw has worked for you, by the way, congratulations on all your success. 18 inches in 8 weeks is a big deal. And if your mindset has it, then you're getting more consistent. There is so much to work for. Is that something that you want to keep doing? If so, you need to get close to this, what got you there. Because otherwise, the most expensive thing is to retract from it. Because when you're running on good momentum and ammunition, keep going. Stay on that runway. Like a plane runs all the way on the runway before it takes off. It doesn't run on the runway and then it stops. That will cause, a catastrophic event. So, lots of things to think about, lots of things to be, aware of. And, we obviously love you and we wish you all the best. And congratulations for all that you've done so far.
This was very Rhonda specific, so I want to see if I can tie this into how anybody can benefit from this conversation. Thank you guys for being in there with us, by the way, while it was choppy. Apparently, whatever button my sausage finger hit made it back clearer, so that's great. But in any adventure in life, map out what you want and then ask yourself why. These are like foundational things that all the time. Map out, ask yourself why. And then also look to see if any of the things that you're asking for contradict one of the other things. I feel often we get stuck in our own way because we're unaware of what it is we're asking from ourselves. And we talk a lot about just awareness. Nothing can be changed if we don't know that it is in the first place. So the first thing that needs to be done is to know what it is that you want. And is that what you really want? Or in the why, is there something else seeking by getting the result you're putting down on paper? So that's how I'll wrap that one up. Okay, let's go one more question. Really long, and this is also another book. Thank you. Next question is from Shorty Campbell in Australia, and there's a lot of stuff here. But really the question is, what advice would you give someone who has to slow down a bit because of an injury to help them, first, not put the weight back on, second, actually believe that they can do it and break the previous pattern of yo-yo weight loss? Which is a fantastic question.
Really good.
Many of you have heard the story of my back surgery. And I started with hip pain and back pain and elbow pain and wrist pain and all of these things while I was competing at a very high level in the sport of CrossFit. And over time, I had a back injury that I had tried everything to fix. Within about a year, I had tried to do chiropractic. I tried to do massage therapy. I did traction. I did laser therapy. I did even ended up getting an epidural. There was something else that I did too. I was trying to resolve the issue in the most natural ways that I could think. After the epidural was an epic fail, I saw a surgeon. They were like, if this doesn't work,
you need surgery.
You got like two choices. And when I went in to see the surgeon, here were my two choices. Lose control of your left leg, or you can get surgery. So I chose surgery. Now, for that entire year, it was really difficult for me to get out. It was defeating in a sense that I could barely even do modifications of things. And many of you have been athletes and gotten injured, or been athletes and then stopped doing your sport and gained weight, and you know what that feels like. So this is the position I'm in. My identity is CrossFit. I am known in the area that I am in, like the Pacific Northwest, the competitive CrossFit athlete. Like I had identified myself. So when you then, like for an entire year almost, I could hardly do anything. The moments we would go to the gym, I couldn't even burpee. There's a lot of hers. There was a lot of like growth. But the one thing that I didn't do that I would have done if it had happened 4 years prior was gain weight. I'm not gaining weight. My body composition changed because I wasn't lifting anymore. So the amount of muscle that I had couldn't be sustained. I wasn't doing the intensity that I was doing before. So the hormonal ratios and balance changed. And so, but I didn't gain any weight. And it is because I focused on everything that we teach you guys. Better than progression. Each day, who has the bracelet? Who has the bracelet? Do you have yours on right now?
Yeah. We practice what we preach.
It says just getting warmed up. If you don't have one, you need that one from our website, shop.aaronandserena.com. It's like $3 or something stupid. And it's a reminder that right now is the beginning. Every moment is the beginning. The moment that Sarit just showed you her bracelet's gone. Right now is a new moment. We are always just getting warmed up. Or as Frisella likes to say, every day one. Every day is day one. And it's due on the 1st of the month. And every day is the 1st of the month. And you got to pay your dues. And so, if you just keep thinking that, like, today's the first day. Today's the first day. Then you can focus only on what's happening right now, not what happened last week, not what happened during COVID, not what happened 2 months ago. You can focus on right now. And the beauty of that, when you're talking about how do I believe that I can actually do it in previous patterns, it's on what's a win, what constitutes a win for me today, just today. And how can I be a little bit better than I was before at my recent best. My recent best, not my best of all best, my recent best. If yesterday I was able to run a mile in 10 minutes, today, can I run it in 9:58? It doesn't have to be massively better, incremental, because over 20 years, what's 20 times 365? Come on.
3650 times 2.
7,300. Okay. So 7,300 days. if you can just focus on getting a little bit better, those incremental getting better turn into monumental.
Mm-hmm. Talked about it on the Inner Circle call last.
Same thing with the LeBron James thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's very much just, we're so not okay with like not seeing the before and after from yesterday. Like there's a certain amount of patience that comes with that. There's intentionality that comes with that. You know, so if we're talking about not getting the weight back, well, you can't do fitness. What else do you have to focus on? Most people say nutrition. And yes, but also, what is your self-talk? But also, are you writing your goals down? But also, how are you controlling your time? But also, what are you absorbing mentally? What are you intaking? What are you consuming through your mind and through your ears and through your eyes? All those things matter. If they're not lined up, I think I did this. I don't know where I did this, but look. If you have nutrition, if you have, can they see that? If you have nutrition, if you have mindset, if you have TV, you have social media, you have your environment, you have radio, you have the news, you have time, you have your work schedule, you have all these things. And if this is the path to success, but you have this up here and you have this here and you have this down here and this down here and this here, they're putting you off the line. It's called misalignment. Ta-da. So just because you can't do fitness shouldn't mean that you have nothing now to focus on. Everything matters. Fitness is like this much of it. I forgot to even write it. It's important. Movement's important. Movement is food. But it's this much.
You know, and the reason why a lot of people, especially like on the right path and they become more consistent, you know, end up holding such heavy weight on fitness because fitness could be the anchoring activity. Okay. And that's legitimate. Now, if let's say if fitness played the role of being the anchoring activity, everything else that you've been focusing on, then what you need to do is you need to replace what was your anchoring activity with a anchoring activity. Because once you have an anchor, then everything else stays the same. But the thing is, when people, let's say, get injured, for one, if their other habits are not in check, then they're just screwed. That's the reality of it. And if you don't have, you know, like the right informations really, and the systems and the support and, you know, like a higher level of awareness, then what's going to happen is they're just going to use it as an excuse with the hope that they will come back. So you need to replace what was your anchoring activity with a new anchoring activity. And if you don't currently have one, that's okay. And that's like, you know, you will hear so many stories of how, like, let's say, like, we're talking about big time athletes, right? When they get injured or something happens, like a new era of therapy, because like one anchoring activity was now replaced by another anchoring activity.
Mm-hmm.
And an evolution. And it happens to all of us. That's why also, like, a lot of athletes who used to be like great athletes, it's like, if you're not taking the time to figure out, okay, like, what is going to be your next anchoring activity? Because let's say if you're like a big time triathlete, you're not training 8 hours a day, or it doesn't matter, whatever sports you're in, right? Like whether it's, like CrossFit, basketball, football, it doesn't matter. That's why, like, you also see so many, like, when we're talking about successful athletes, I don't just like, oh my God, you're a Hall of Famer. I mean, like your family alignment, your finances are in alignment, just like everything around you is just great. Like Tom Brady, for example, you guys know I love him. Tom Brady has more than one anchoring activity. He knows his purpose, but he has more than one anchoring activity. And I guarantee, let's say if he gets injured next year, he's going to touchable. Because he has a system of how do I keep myself in check and make sure that this stays the same way in order to help me move forward. So like things are always going to keep on shifting. Now, are we aware enough? And, like, have we developed all of the tools in order to help us adapt super fast when things shift? Because that's just the reality of it. So, Sir Thomas Brady.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
We hope that you found value from today's conversation. Remember, you guys, pre-orders are happening this week. And also, if you found value from today's conversation, depending on the quality of today's episodes, we heard from some of you guys that it was choppy. Obviously, if it was you got value from this, then please go ahead and share it with somebody else who would find it useful, because you guys are here to help you, here to help your community, to help everybody around you, because we're on a mission to transform the lives of millions through the same movement, nutrition, lifestyle, and financial habits that are transformed ours, because we know that especially now more than ever, the world needs it. Because if you can't manage yourself, how the heck are you going to manage all the chaos that's around you? So that's that. We love you guys, and we look forward to you tomorrow on another episode. Bye.